Are you growing a real estate team based on a bunch of lies? Are you? Most people are. And today, right here on Commission, we get into the 5 lies that will ruin your real estate team or your career as a productive agent, team, broker, or owner. These are the 5 lies that will ruin your real estate career. And this is Commissioned, the podcast where we help you go from the chaos and the grind and the beating of building a business to the freedom and the wealth and the impact of having a great real estate team or business. I'm Todd Tramonte. I've been coaching agents for well over a decade. I lead a team and a brokerage and coach agents right here from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, as well as doing radio, YouTube, and all the other stuff. And right here with me is Grady Dill, our director of real estate growth systems, helping me coach agents all over North America. What's up, Grady?
Yo.
I'm holding a copy of my book, and I don't care if you go buy it. You can get it on Amazon very, very cheap. But the book is The 5 Lies That Will Ruin Your Real Estate Career. And it also shares and the truth that can make you wealthy. Maybe we'll do that for a future episode. But we're going to dig in today to the 5 lies that will ruin your real estate career. These are lies that are super prevalent. These are things that people tell each other all the time. And these are things that people tell people when they get into real estate. And these are things that sadly people that have been in the business for a long time continue to repeat to themselves and to others and to people outside of the industry. They are lies, not always deliberate, but they are lies. They are not true, and people continue to repeat them, live by them, and yes, build their real estate teams based on them. And that is what we in the business call dumb. That's not a good thing to do. So we're going to dive in. I know Grady's got a bunch of questions queued up today. We're going to talk about these 5 lies from the perspective primarily of the team leader, the business owner, or the highly productive, successful agent. But we're going to hit it, some of these things from the perspective of the team member and maybe the consumer, so that we can see how egregious and harmful these lies are, how to avoid them, but how to turn and grow and build that wealth and freedom from what is true.
Okay, Todd, I'm going to kick us off here.
Okay, let's do it.
So I'm looking at the book. You released this and wrote this in 2017.
2017?
2017. You
Farther back
coach
than I thought.
tons of agents.
Many.
And as I look through all of these, the question I have to start off is, why do these 5 lies stand the test of time? They were true in 17 and they're true now.
It's funny. Well, they were lies then and now. But I guess what you're saying is people believed these lies and shared them then, and they believe them now, and they share them now.
And a lot of stuff has happened since 2017.
I think the honest, fair answer is I don't know. But here's my opinion. Here's what I think. Here's why I think people continue to perpetuate these lies. Number one, our real estate industry is garbage. Let's get that out of the way. Most people are not very good at their jobs. Most people are part-time. Most people are winging it. It's a backup. It's an like an intermediate in-between job. Not everybody. So if that's not you, don't freaking cry and email me. But if it is you, I'm not mad at you. I just want you to go all in or do something that you can be all in. And I understand there's exceptions. But the point I'm making is it's easy to just repeat what others are saying when you're not so all in that you're thinking deeply and critically. We also have TV shows that make real estate look like a caricature of what it really is. We also have people that have bought and sold a handful of houses, and so they think they have the entire industry figured out. They think they know more than the top tier professionals. And so this just sort of mindless, stereotypical repetition of things is not unique to our industry, but it is, I would say, more exaggerated in our industry because of the low barrier to entry and the very high bar of success. So that's my inference. That's my educated guess, my best guess at why these, and I think by the end of this episode, pretty obviously untruths, these lies, still get batted around, when I think we'll be able to clearly show how obviously false they are.
Yeah, because the first one in the book is you'll have complete flexibility with your time.
Yeah, raise your hand if you've been in real estate for more than 10 minutes and you have complete flexibility with your time, and none of the hands went up. Now, if hands went up, it was probably people that are like in real estate, in air quotes, like have a license, but are not like all day, every day, full-time pursuing real estate as a career. Anybody I know, barring the random, like just uber wealthy, got lucky with the occasional massive deal. Like that's not in the business. That's you're lucky and I'm not mad at you. I'm happy for you, but it's not repeatable. For the rest of us that are building and stirring up business and taking great care of clients and hustling and grinding and learning and staying compliant and being ethical and all those things, there is at a bare minimum, there is a season of growth where you do not have complete flexibility with your time. Whereas a matter of fact, the reality for most, I would say the vast majority of successful agents is you had way less control over your time than you thought. The client often dictates your time, when you're going to go and where you're going to go and how often you're going to stay and how many times you need to show property or how many times you need to update a listing or meet with a client or whatever the case is, meet an inspector, surveyor, any of those things. The other thing is not even the client, a prospect, a lead, a possible potential opportunity often dictates when you're on the phone, when you're doing an open house, when you're showing property, when you are meeting with another agent, or when you're running by a title company, or when you have to chat with an inspector, or when you've got to figure out an appraisal issue. You are not fully and completely in control of your time, especially in the earliest, hardest stages of growth. So that's just a lie that people like to tell because it sounds attractive, and it's a stereotype of commission income, especially real estate sales. It's like, oh, it's super flexible. It'll work around your kid's schedule. It'll work around your other job. It'll work around, your unique schedule and life needs. And of course, it can do that at times and in stretches and in sprints and potentially after significant amounts of growth and planning and scheduling and systems and staff and things like that. But for the vast majority of people, especially early on in a career, the idea that you'll have complete flexibility with your time is in fact, unquestionably, a lie. And it hurts a lot of people because they get into the business thinking that, and then they really fight to defend that. And so instead of hustling and growing and learning the way they would, they're really defining, I'll do what I want when I want, and they end up not doing very much at all. So do not recommend following the advice that you'll have complete flexibility with your time. And also don't recommend you telling anybody else that. Okay,
the second lie in the book is work your sphere and you'll be successful.
Yeah, similar to the first. You've been a real estate agent. Was that ever true for you?
No.
Yeah. Now, there's some people out there that are like, whoa, that's true for me. And my guess is you're more than a couple of years into the business and you've defined success in a reasonable way. Right? So work your sphere and you'll be successful is generally received as like, look, I'm just going to help my friends and my family and my neighbors when they need real estate, and I'm going to make a full-time living and it's going to be great. It's like I just get to help people all the time and help people that already trust me. We don't have to mess with all the complexities. We just go, I'll love on you, I'll knock it out of the park, everybody wins.
You call that career suicide.
Well, I also call that dumb because for most people that looks like doing like 1 to 4 deals a year in the beginning and being brokenhearted when somebody doesn't help you, somebody doesn't hire you. Or maybe it means you did 11 deals your first year and 2 the next because you have no control, no consistency. So I am not saying don't work your sphere. I'm not saying it's a lie that if you work your sphere, you can be successful. I'm saying it's a lie that if you just work your sphere, you will certainly be successful. But that's the TV version of this, right? It's like, oh, you get a license and you just do all the normal things you do in your life. And all those people will be like, oh, wow, you are a realtor. You're the only one I know. I automatically trust you. Here is all of this super profitable business. I'll never ask for a discount or take advantage of you or waste your time and not pay you. So that's a lie. It's a lie for just about anybody and everybody I know. I mean, again, without the rare, unique exception, there's a lot of people that get confronted with the brutal reality that that's not going to work out for you, especially in the beginning, and certainly not forever. Even the folks, you've seen them in our coaching program that make way well into the 6 figures. I mean, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a year in net take-home real estate commissions. In certain markets and certain seasons will go, man, I'm here because I need a more stable, firm business. The referral business, depending on your life stage and your database and your client makeup, your database makeup will ebb and flow, and it can ebb and flow pretty significantly. Not like those people are starving and unable to support themselves, but they are not always hitting their goals because they did truly just operate off of that idea that they can just, work their sphere and they'll be fine.
It kind of flows into the third lie. That real estate's a great part-time career.
I've already beat up on all the part-timers already quite a bit on this episode. Let me just say this.
Take a minute to breathe.
I do understand, the single parent deal where it's like, I have to be part-time before I can be full-time. And I'm not here to demean you in any way. I'm just here to tell you that even in that situation, I'll be fair and I'll say 9 times out of 10, your client would be better off if you were full-time. They would be better off if you were not working another job, if you were not unreachable a lot of the time. Now, you should not be reachable all the time. If you ever listen to 2 seconds of this podcast, I'm not thinking you should just always be available. But the reality is, if you're not fully committed, fully focused, and able to give a full effort to your clients, then I don't think that's wise. I don't think it's going to go well for you or them. I also think it's potentially unethical. There are exceptions. So for those of you that feel like you are just absolutely killing it and you're the exception, maybe you are. But it is not a great part-time career. That's why the lie is that it is a great part-time career.
I mean, for how big of a decision you're helping somebody through, translate real estate into a different career path.
Right.
I'm not going to go get in trouble with the law and then go hire a part-time lawyer.
Yeah. Step 1, don't get in trouble with the law. But
Right.
let's just say you got sued and you didn't do something, but you have legal drama. You have legal challenges for, let's just say $500,000, which is for many of us in most of our markets, not even a crazy amount to have on the line in a real estate transaction. You might have 2, selling one and buying one. And of course, you could be at a bigger price point. But the reality is, you're not going to go get some wannabe hack who barely made it out of law school, who is not very organized, who is not full-time, to go handle your $500,000 legal situation or medical situation that has an equivalent risk to it, or even like a tax bill, an accounting situation. Nobody does that. And again, you can probably go find some bizarre exception where somebody made a really poor choice or they had a brilliant aunt and uncle that's part-time and great, whatever. Yep. For the lie is that it's great, that it is a great part-time career. And the reason I phrased it that way is because it is so often communicated as it's a great part-time job. You can totally do this in addition to that. You can totally do this, while you have these other more significant professional pursuits. And it's just not wise. I did say in the book, if you're not full-time, quit. I'll say that before you do, because I know you're going to go there. But the reality is this. Again, statistically speaking, I think that's true. Maybe the number is 99.8%, but let's just go ahead and round that to an even 100. If you're not full-time, you shouldn't be representing people as they spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars in a very big transaction that's likely to take months and then need your care and concern for years. Leading up to or beyond at all. You just shouldn't. It should be something that you have a full-time commitment to. And then on the flip side of that, if you want the full-time benefits of it, full-time income, full-time job satisfaction, full-time pipeline, then you need to be full-time committed. You need to be full-time focused. Now, full-time can be defined differently for people. Some people full-time's 90 hours a week. Some people it's 38. The point I'm making is it should be your primary full 40 hours or more-ish per week focus. Now, I don't care if you've been doing this for 25 years and now you can blow it out of the water and 4 days a week. Great. I'm proud of you. I train, I coach a lot of people to get there. But the point is, if this isn't your primary full-on professional focus, your client probably deserves more, and you will probably not achieve the goals and results you have for yourself if your goals and results are full-time rooted, right? I'm speaking mostly to team leaders and successful, solo with help producers or brokers here. But man, if you're a solo agent and you're listening, just take that as freaking 100% fact law. You gotta be all in, or you're not going to get there. Statistically speaking, you're not even going to renew your license once. You're going to burn out. You're certainly not going to make it to an organization that feeds your life and creates income and impact, and you don't have to do it all on you're not going to get there if you're not all in. It's just not going to happen.
Okay, lie number 4, the bigger the split, the better the broker.
I almost feel like nothing else here needs to be said, but I know from experience that it does. Our industry is just beat over the head from the inside out, meaning agents lying to agents, team leaders, brokers lying to themselves that the broker's always the problem, that the splits is the real reason they're not making the amount of money they want to make. Now, I'm not saying there aren't a lot of people out there with bad split plans and commission setups and compensation models. There are. Most of them are just monkey see, monkey do. Copy what someone else is doing, whatever you can get away with and hope there's enough money left over at the end of the year. There's a lot of brokers that just flinched a little bit hearing that. There's a lot of team leaders that are on YouTube right now looking me in the virtual eyes that are going, "Oh, that one hurt," because you didn't put a lot of critical strategic thought into your compensation. What I would say is commission splits are just an exchange of value. All compensation is just an exchange of value. What do you get paid per hour? What do you get paid per year? What do you get paid per transaction? There's a lot of really bad language around commission splits where people say my broker takes or the agent gets or I have to give. That's all bad language. Now, that may be true and representative of your situation, but that means you're probably not in a great situation. It should feel like a partnership. Now, I don't love true partnerships where people have complicated equity splits and things, but you should be partnering together to be mutually successful. And if that's the case, it's not always how do I get the biggest piece of the pie? How do I, the agent, or I, the team leader, get the most? It's about, well, what's the value exchange? I would rather have 1% of $1 billion in gross commission income than 98% of like $2,000 in gross commission income. There's a lot of agents with 100% of nothing. Like, I have 100% split. And so therefore no one has any financial incentive or any other incentive to help you be successful. And no one is helping you and you're not, right? I've been there. There's a lot of people that are like, I would never, ever, ever join a team because team splits I'm not doing that anymore. But there's team members living way better lives, getting much more help, making way more money every single year, way more predictably than, Johnny Nose Up in the Air, who's over there with their 90% split, netting $19,000 a year before taxes. Good luck with that. So the bigger the split, the better the broker is stupid. It's a lie. It's like lazy intellectual thinking. Now, if you're great and you have a super generous broker and you have a giant split and they're still helping you, great, good for you. But as a rule, as a thing we tell people and repeat to ourselves, it's a lie. It's not true that the broker is better just because it's a bigger split.
I can remember before when I was getting my license, somebody told me the bigger this, like to keep in mind the splits because his words were, you're going to end up doing all of it anyways.
Yeah. By the way, if you are doing it all, then you should have a giant percentage of whatever split, or maybe don't even work on a split. There's a lot of just fee models, but I'm actually not disagreeing with whoever told you that. Well, I'm disagreeing with what they said that you're going to end up doing it all.
But it's something that was new. I mean, not even new yet. I didn't have my license yet. Yeah, I was like, I don't even know what all is.
Nobody brand new should go try to do it all themselves. Ha, ha, ha. Because I did. I'm an idiot. I was too broke and prideful to go get help and pay for help. And I just didn't know any better. I didn't have any coaching or mentorship at the time. No one's fault but my own. But that's why I didn't have a super fast start to my career. I just didn't. I'm not one of those guys that just shot out of a rocket and was like, oh, I figured it all out. I didn't. I screwed up a lot. And I really started to figure it out when I got coaching and mentorship. But I never once had a broker who was that person. I finally got smart and figured out and went and found coaches who knew what I didn't know, had been where I wanted to go, and then paid for coaching that way, which is fine. You may do the same thing once you know what you need. But if you're brand new, and we're not mostly talking to brand new people here, but if someone was brand new, they don't know what they need. So the bigger the split, the better the broker is insane. And because most of our viewers are team-ish, starting a team, scaling a team, or increasing profitability and leverage from a team, we're often the ones explaining this to an agent that we would be hiring, is that, you think you want me to increase your split, but really what you want to do is increase the value of our partnership. And that's how we would talk about split.
So then line number 5, the best agent always wins.
Yeah. If there was one that I would go back on I think it would be a third printing now and revise the language, I might revise the language of this one. This is absolutely a lie. The best agent always wins. The way I would define the best agent is the most skillful, tactically sound agent, the one that knows the contracts, the one that knows negotiation, the one that knows the market, the one that knows valuations the best. The best agent at agent stuff always wins. The client is false. That's a lie. You know who's going to beat him every time is the best marketer, best communicator, the best advertiser, the one who can compel a stranger or even a friend or a friend of a friend to be excited, to see value, to want to use them. Now that agent could in fact be a terrible agent, meaning they may lack all that skill set, But that all comes after you get hired. So what I coach people towards is we want to be both. We want to be the best, most skillful, tactically sound agent and the best marketer, the best communicator of our value, the best advertiser, promoter of the potential outcome from working with us. But the idea that like you should spend all your time just becoming a better tactical, technical realtor is crazy town. If you had to pick one, and I don't think you have to pick one, because if you're full-time, you can do both. But if you had to pick one, you should pick the marketing, the messaging, the communication, the thing that would compel people to work with you. And then if you're ethical, at least they're going to get a hardworking, honest person. What they really deserve is someone who's a great communicator of their value to compel them in and help them feel comfortable and trusting, and then get the best technical, tactical, hardworking, skillful agent. And when we can do those things, or we can help agents become those things on our team, then we avoid all the lies. We lean into the truth. We make money. We have some freedom and flexibility. We have incredible impact. And then all of this starts to build momentum and snowball, and it gets easier and more fun, and easier and more fun. And we can be more generous, and it gets a little easier and more fun. And then when the hard seasons hit, and it gets hard again, we know how to get out of it. We know not to be distracted by the lies. Hey, go take another job and just let real estate float part-time for a while. Nope, it's going to knock you down even in that situation. Hey, just work your sphere, pull back all your lead costs. Don't work on prospecting. Just work to people, It's not going to happen. It's not going to work out. If it does, it'll be luck, and it won't happen next time. It's not repeatable. Hey, just focus on just study the MLS all day. You'll know the market better than anybody else. Yeah, but you won't have any clients, right? Every single one of those lies ends up proving true as a new agent, experienced agent. And then when you flip it and you're not the one believing the lie, you're the one communicating to a potential team member or a hire or someone you're mentoring the risk of these lies, your life and your career will flesh it out, and you'll have more trust for them, with them, so they can avoid these lies and the destruction that it will create in their career. Hey guys, if you are thinking, I kind of want to implement, I want some language around this, I want to avoid these lies, I want to coach and lead my team, or I want to launch a team and do this well, I'm happy to give you 15 or 20 minutes of my time just to talk through at no charge, no obligation, how you could implement some of this. There's going to be a link near this video or audio that you can click and just request some time on my calendar. May not always be right away, but we'll find some time, jump on a Zoom or a phone call, and just talk about how you can put this into action, or how you can avoid these potholes and mistakes. And then, of course, if you have questions about doing more together, whether that's coaching or coming to one of our events or whatever, be happy to talk about that. But click that link somewhere near this video or this audio, or whoever forwarded this to you can probably point you to us, or just Google my name, Todd Tramonte. We'd be happy to help you get the ball rolling, or to take the next most incredible strategic step to building an incredible team that avoids these 5 lies. And then look out for a future episode on the 12 simple truths that can make you wealthy as a team leader or a team member, avoiding the lies, living in the truth, and experiencing the freedom from the chaos, and the wealth instead of the grind, and the impact instead of the beating of just being lied to and perpetuating lies all the time. Folks, this is Commission. We'll see you on the next episode. Let us know. Let your friends know if you like this. Leave us a review. Talk to you next time.